Well, hello. Welcome to another sunny chat. My little co-host is here with me again. Did you want to say hello to everybody, baby? Well, I hope everybody's having a happy, productive, healthy 2026 so far, and I really can't believe that we're at the end of February already. So I wanted to come on and touch base and have another little chat. And if you're here because you want to hear about how I got kicked out of the toxic grandma group, that's what I'm going to talk about today. So grab your coffee or your drink, your cocktail, mocktail, whatever it is that you prefer, and this will be quite a little chat. So anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. And I'm going to just give a little recap. Hold on, I want to take a sip of my coffee. So I want to give a little catch up on, you may or may not know that I'm Sunny Brown, and I am a comedian, comedic entertainer, writer, and my show that I have right now, my comedy cabaret show, is An Invisible Woman, the disappearance and reinvention of a woman over 50. And it pokes fun at all the ways that society tries to make women feel invisible once we turn 50. And it celebrates reinvention in later stages of life. So this chat is sort of a companion piece to my show. And I like to talk about on this chat, I like to talk about the underlying message that is underneath the comedy. And it's about showing up for yourself and for your life and for the woman you want to be, and not letting us disappear in our own lives, especially once we turn 50, like society tries to make us do. So anyway, I come and settle in and we will chat about this. So this started about last summer. It was last July. That's right. It was last July, and I was at an award ceremony. I was receiving Top 50 Over 50 award from Positive Maturity, and this other lovely woman was also there receiving an award. And when they announced her, they also talked about this organization that she was a member of, and I thought, oh, I want to know more about that. This sounds just like my group, my tribe. And it's an organization for women 60 and over, really 60 to 69. And it is a statewide organization. And I thought, I had never heard of it before. And I thought, this sounds like a group that I would love to be part of. So I went onto Facebook and looked them up, and I stalked them for a little while, and I really liked their mission statement. It was about being visible in your communities. It was about women our age being visible in their community. And I thought, that is such an alignment with my own message of an invisible woman, right? An invisible woman, and how we show up for ourselves in our lives and in our communities. So I really wanted to be part of this organization, and I thought that it would be a great benefit for both of us, right? That I could help share, their message, and at the same time reinforce and get my message and get to know a lot of other lovely women and my age, and we would just all support each other. And I really like their message of supporting women in their 60s and over. So after stalking them for a while and seeing the things that they do in the different communities around the state, and their pictures and just their messages in support of each other and their mission, I started liking some of their posts, and I really got the thought, okay, I want to reach out to them and see about becoming a part of their organization. And to tell you the truth, I'm not going to name this organization, but it's something very different than I have ever done before. And it was going to be out of my wheelhouse and out of my comfort zone, which, we're supposed to do, right? I mean, really and truly, we're supposed to get out of our comfort zone. And, and I think that's where the excitement in life lies, actually. So I talked to my husband, and even though I said, I know this is going to sound crazy to you, but I really want to join this organization. And he got it immediately. He immediately saw the alignment. And then I talked to my daughter because I completely trust her judgment. She has great, insights into things, and she's been bossing me since 1995, the year she was born, and I just really value her opinions and her thoughts. So, and she immediately said, "Okay, Mom, you have to do this. This sounds great, but if you're going to do it, you need to take it seriously." And so again, she's been bossing me, and so there was an interview process to be involved and to join, and it's a year-long commitment. So that's why I really wanted to talk to my husband, because it is, like I just said, a year-long commitment, which was going to involve a lot of traveling across the state. So I wanted everybody on board, right? You need your support team. And so I did mock interviews with my daughter, getting ready for the interview process. And the interview process was in, I want to say, September, maybe end of September. So I found out about them in July, kind of stalked them through July. August, I kind of started commenting, on their things. And then the end of August or early July, I reached out, said, I'm really interested. I would love to be a part of your organization. And they were so happy that I've shown interest, and they would love to, get to know me better and have the interview, and sent me, information about it, and we set up the interview, and it was with the woman who is the, the founder and president of it, who runs it, and 2 other women on the board. So I had the interview, and it went really well, and I was very excited. And then a couple of days later, they reached out and enthusiastically welcomed me to the organization, that they were so happy to have me, and just a great fit. And they couldn't wait till we got started. Our group was going to be getting started in January of this year. The 2025 group was wrapping up. So this was in early October. And then we were going to have, so they sent me, then in October, late October, early November, they sent me a welcome pack with all the information I was going to need for us to get started in January. And I had to send in my photo with the welcome pack for them to promote on their Facebook page. So I did that, and then, we went through the holidays and everything, not really anything knowing we were going to be kicking off in January. Well, I also I just finished a show. I just got through doing a play, which was so much fun. It was about women in their 50s and the sisterhood, and it was the same message, right? The same message I love to talk about our friendships, showing up for our friends, showing up for our relationships, showing up for ourselves, becoming the women we want to be. And so it was a lot of fun. It was in perfect alignment, and it was crazy and wacky. We sold out every show. So I had to talk to them about, I was going to miss a couple of the Zoom calls because I was going to be in rehearsals for the show. So they said, no problem, absolutely, it was not going to be an issue. So then that we would be in touch. So then in January, this just happened like 6 weeks ago. but I couldn't process this that happened because I've been so involved in the play that I just finished up. But now that's over, and I now have time to think about this, and I wanted to share it with you because there's a lot to unpack, and I want your thoughts. So anyway, I had a phone call from the woman who's in charge, and she said, this was a Sunday afternoon, right, maybe the second weekend of January, and she said, I hate to have this conversation with you. And so that didn't sound good, and she said, but I'm going to have to ask you to resign from moving forward with this organization. And I was just dumbfounded. I was completely blindsided. I was shocked. Like I didn't really even understand what she was saying. Excuse me. And I was like, well, what do you mean? What's happened? And she proceeded to tell me that they were not comfortable with my persona, with my image, any of my photos or videos on any of my social media platforms. So I excuse me, I really didn't know what she was talking about. I was dumbfounded. My mind was really blown. And excuse me. So I was like, well, what are you talking about? And she proceeded to tell me that they were not comfortable that I showed any of my legs. I am not joking. That I show my legs in any of my photos, any cleavage, shoulders, you know, that they did not like the innuendo, you know. So I want to just say right here, first of all, I am a comedian, and I do like tongue-in-cheek humor. I like a wink and a nod. I do have some, I mean, I like innuendo, right? I think that when you're just spelling things out, it's kind of basic and not clever. And I like, you know, a little innuendo. I think it's fun. And so I just, I was trying to understand exactly what was so upsetting to them. And when she said, yeah, we didn't like it, did we, baby? We were very upset. We were very shocked. So anyway, you like to support your mommy. So anyway, I was taking a big breath, and I was just letting her talk, right? She said it's nothing personal. Of course, it was all personal. And basically proceeded to tell me that the only way they could allow me to stay involved is if I completely erased, if I took down every photo and every video across all my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And then, you know, then I could, you know, remain a part of it, even though I don't think they really wanted me to. And I told my husband, my daughter, I was like, wouldn't it blow their minds if I said, okay, I'll just erase myself from my own life, and then they'll have to deal with me all year long? Wouldn't that blow their minds? But of course, I wasn't about to do that. But anyway, I said to her, I said, I feel like I'm in junior high. I feel like I'm in junior high school. Like, you're the mean girls. Like, you totally were excited, but now, oh, you can't sit with us. And so I told her that. I said, really and truly, I feel like I'm in junior high. You're the mean girls. And so it was just absolutely a shock. I didn't know what to say. I never commit to anything right away. And so I said, I'm going to have to really think about this, and I will get back to you. So I hung up and in disbelief. And the first person I called is my husband. Well, my husband, he was on location or something. Yeah. So I called my daughter, and she said, well, first of all, she was in disbelief, and she said, "What are they in junior high?" I said, "I know." And then she said, "Well, did you tell them to go blank, blank, blank?" And I said, "That's exactly what I needed to hear, you know." And she said, "Don't you dare remove one photo or video from anything." I was like, "Do not worry. I do not plan to disappear myself in my own life." So I, you know, the woman brought up about that they are like any organization and, you know, look up people on, you know, LinkedIn before they hire somebody or do, and I was like, but you had 4.5 months to to look at my social media. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide. I'm not embarrassed or ashamed of anything that I post or do. And so, you know, they had the opportunity for 4.5 months to go and look at any of my social media before inviting me to be a part of it, enthusiastically inviting me, open arms welcoming me. And so I told them as much in my email to them, officially withdrawing and resigning, and that I would absolutely not remove one thing. I was proud of how I represented myself and all women 50 and over, excuse me, and 60 and over, and that I absolutely expected we had to give a fee, you know, to join, and that I expected that a full and immediate refund, which they did do. And they said, "It's not personal. We don't mean to be judgmental." And I want to be, but you are. I had to go back and look at my photos and videos on social media. I am not everyone's cup of tea, and no one is everyone's cup of tea, right? And I, you know, I like a wink and a nod. I like it, even though tongue in cheek. And let's face it, I thought we were all over 20, actually over 61. I thought we were all over 61. Now, I want to go back and say something. That when I got their promotional material, I noticed in there, and it was very bold, large letters. "Hey, baby, yeah. I bet Popsy will take you out if you want to go find them." That modesty. They are modest, and I saw the rules. No cleavage. No, when you show up for events and things, you know, you must wear hosiery at all time. No dresses that show too short. You know, it was just a lot of, truly, she said, "We are so modest. We are so modest." Well, I don't know what century they're in for women in their 60s. And so this brings up a lot of questions, I think, for me, and I want to know what your thoughts are, because, you know, society has a lot of thoughts on women being over 50, over 60, and how we should look, right, and how we should dress and show up. She said, you know, again, modesty, and it was all about being modest. And so I had noticed when I was doing all the stalking on them, and I brought this up to my husband at the time and my daughter and the other 2 or 3 people that I actually talked about this to beforehand. And I had noticed that while there were some women who absolutely looked modern, you know, fashionable, that there were a lot who, and I want to say this in a non-judgmental way, but did not look as modern and fashionable. But you know what? I did not hold it against them. I was like, more power to them. They are showing up, right? They're in their community. They're doing them. And I didn't hold it against them that they looked a little old-fashioned. I'm going to say very old-fashioned in some ways, maybe backwards in some ways. Not a modern vision of women today, this age. And so, you know, and I was still willing to go along with that, but they were not willing to go along with me. And they love to post these memes about live your best life, be you, live you, be yourself, you know, you be you, you be you, you be you, but you don't be you, okay? And so, again, I just, my mind was just blown. I've just now been able to fully process what they actually mean. Sprinkle kindness everywhere. That's a big logo, and they were not kind to me. It literally was overjoyed, open arms, kisses, thrilled to have me, and then suddenly somebody, one of them or somebody, decided to go and look, you know, at my Facebook or Instagram and were horrified that I don't know what they're horrified of, my legs, of my, you know, that I have cleavage. I mean, so here's some questions I have. First of all, I wanted to say, it's not like I'm rated R. You know, there's 2 A's and a P after that R. I'm rated AARP. Okay, right, baby. And there you go. We're swapping places. I'm rated AARP. I mean, again, we're all over 61. So here's a couple of things I have that I think about that. One, I don't know who they're afraid that they're going to inspire any lustful thoughts. Being women in our 60s, if we show some cleavage or some legs, right? If they're not modest, if there's any immodesty, you know, in our 60s, this is so laughable. Who they're being modest for. And the flip side of that is if you know, if you've got it, flaunt it, especially when you're over in your 50s, 60s, but any age, right? I mean, we work hard. You know, by the time you're in your 50s and 60s, 70s, you're working out. If you look great and you feel great and you like the way you look and you want to show some leg and you want to show a little shoulder and you want to show a little, show it. Who's going to be upset about it besides this group of women? And it wasn't a real grandma group. They were mostly grandmas. I'm not a grandma. I'm in my 60s. You know, that's not happening right now. It may never happen. I don't, that's not my focus. But they are. And I'm just saying the mean girls in the junior high, the mean girls in high, they grow up to be the mean girls in college. They grow up to be the mean girls in your work colleagues or in your social group. You're the mean girls in your the mom group, the toxic mom group that's going around out there right now. And they still grow up to be the mean girls in the toxic grandma group. And I really had never experienced that before, I'm gonna say. And it's wild. And they did me a favor. Obviously, things are always in retrospect because I don't have to spend the year with these people and they don't have to spend the year with me pretending to like me, right? Which I would have really liked them, I think. But I absolutely could not believe that a group of women in their 60s wanted a woman in her 60s to erase herself from her own life, her own social media. That the alternative to be friends with them, to be part of their group, was that I had to take down all my pictures and videos of myself that I've ever posted. I mean, I'm laughing about it. And I want to say, if anybody tries to make you erase yourself and to fit in to their group, don't do it. Say no. Do not erase yourself for anybody. You show up as you, for you, in your life. And so I am curious. I want to know, what do you think? You know, it's not like I did not agree that they don't have the right to invite people and accept people into their organization who, you know, who represents their values, and I do agree with that. They did think I did that based on my interviews. I actually even ended up very, it was very synchronicity that ran into 3 of them, including the woman who runs it, very unexpectedly on a organizational thing that I was involved in, and 3 of them were there, and they recognized me from our interview, and my photo that I'd sent in. So I recognized one of them, but not the others, and they were so excited to have me. And then they saw some pictures that they didn't like. And she said something about all the philanthropic efforts that they do, and then if somebody then saw a picture of me after they did this philanthropic promotion, that it just wouldn't set right or something. I really don't know. And I thought, you probably would not accept a book from Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, because she shows up herself and she doesn't leave much to the imagination. It's the Imagination Library, but it's not imagining her. I mean, Dolly Parton is proud of herself and being a woman in her age. And so I can think of someone else who they probably would not want to be around. It's not like the First Lady doesn't have some photos out there that, that would shock them. So all I want to say is they had 4.5 months to find out about me and make the decision long before we even had the interview, and certainly before this just happened a few weeks ago. And so I just, I want to know, what do you think? What do you think about women over 60, women over 50, over 60? How should they represent themselves? Should they stay covered up, modest, afraid to, what is it? Are they afraid to inspire lust in someone? Or if you can inspire lust in someone in your 60s, should that even be a thing? It's so archaic in thinking to me, very old-fashioned and backwards. And so how do you show up for yourself, So I'm going to keep being me. I hope you're going to keep being you. I'll find another organization of women who are in alignment with my message of showing up for yourself and being yourself, knowing who you are. And if you're in your 60s and you don't know who you are and stand up for who you are, then I don't know what introspection you've been doing. And it's an ongoing process, right? And I can't believe that other women in their 60s would tell other women in their 60s that you don't belong because you're showing your legs. So this has been a long chat. I am moving on. I had a chance to process this. I'm doing a fun little guest spot on our friend's new cabaret show he's debuting in a few weeks. I'm getting ready to go into rehearsals for that, and have some other things bubbling up that I will definitely let you know about as they come to fruition. And I'm looking forward to doing more of these chats about how we show up for the life we want, show up for our own life, and show up for the women that we want to be. So if you stuck around for this whole thing, I appreciate it, and I really want to hear what you think about this whole toxic grandma group. So I hope that you have a great group of women you're involved in that support each other, and let me know if you're not, if they're not afraid of a woman who is really comfortable with herself, because I hope that you are. So I will see you next time, but I want to hear from you. All right, bye. My little co-host left. She says bye too. Okay. We'll see. Yeah, you can turn it off. Yeah.
How'd it go?
Well, I mean, it's a chat. So.
It's long.